A Plague Tale has always made survival feel desperate and uncompromising. Even when Amicia fought back, every encounter carried the sense that she was one mistake away from being overwhelmed. Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy changes that immediately by putting you in the shoes of Sophia, someone who just doesn't survive a fight, she knows how to win one. That shift could have stripped away what made the earlier games distinctive, but after spending around 12 hours with Sophia's story, I can say this doesn't feel like a Plague Tale chasing the action game trend. The direct melee combat and ancient mythology feel like a natural expansion of his world, while giving a familiar supporting character a story worth telling.
This island has consumed you! Why?
Set 15 years before A Plague Tale Requiem, Resonance follows a younger Sophia long before she became the sea captain who helped Amicia and Hugo. After a mission in Venice goes completely wrong, she leaves her crew behind and travels to Minotaur's Island, a place that has been calling to her since childhood. The opening hooked me almost immediately. It establishes Sophia's crew as her family and then sends everything sideways. Several characters are memorable despite limited screen time, although one mentor who trains Sophia feels underused. But the moment Resonance introduces the labyrinth and shifts into the Minoan era through Theseus is when the story finds its identity. Its interpretation of the Minotaur explores the earliest history of the macula, the ancient curse responsible for the plague, and the monstrous rat swarms at the center of the series. And honestly, this was easily my favorite part of the game. Massive stone structures, elaborate gears, and mechanical systems make the Minoans feel like an ancient civilization instead of mythology being used as background decoration. Every trip into the past made me want to see what the game would reveal next. The story makes you care about Sophia while keeping the familiar Plague Tale feeling of loss and isolation. The pacing is strong even when it slows to explore her past. Its only stumble comes near the end, when the story builds toward a natural conclusion and then keeps going a little longer than expected. It recovers and lands on an emotional note, but the final stretch could have been tighter. The biggest change is easily the combat. Sophia is not Amicia. She is faster, more physical, and comfortable fighting several enemies at once. Attacks wear down an enemy's guard before opening them to a critical strike, letting you chain attacks and finishers across multiple targets. There is some God of War Ragnarok in the close range fighting and a little Batman Arkham in the way you move between enemies, but Resonance never feels like it's copying either one. Parries, blocks, and dodges are polished and responsive. Enemies are not damage sponges, fights move quickly, and when I got hit, it normally felt like I had made the mistake. The game is not especially difficult on normal though, and several encounters become noticeably easier after a few upgrades. There are 5 difficulty settings ranging from narrative to nightmare, so anyone looking for more resistance can raise the difficulty without taking a penalty. The weaker part is progression. Sophia's options do not change much until you unlock new skills, and those upgrades felt too expensive. I probably could have explored for more materials, but progression still felt slower than it needed to be. Resonance mixes light stealth, platforming, and puzzles built around a Minoan sphere that manipulates light. Its structure reminded me of a modern Tomb Raider game, linear and constantly moving forward, but with enough room to search for gear and materials. Most areas guide you naturally, although one stealth sequence inside the labyrinth left me unsure which direction the game wanted me to go. The encounter itself was tense, but the unclear route briefly disrupted that tension. The combat controls feel excellent, while platforming takes more adjustment. Sophia has real momentum, so jumping in a new direction without stopping first may send her slightly off course. It is not unresponsive, but traversal never feels quite as precise as the fighting. Resonance is a strong looking game. It aims for realism without chasing hyper-realism, and the labyrinth is the standout. Deep shadows, strange lights, and enormous mechanical ruins make every chamber feel ancient and unsettling. The soundtrack did not stick with me as much as I expected, but the sound design is excellent. The creatures' attacks and the echoes through the labyrinth give those sections a genuinely creepy atmosphere. The voice acting is also strong, especially Sophia, the Minoan king, and even a few warriors who appear briefly. I did encounter some issues. I became completely stuck in my environment twice in my PC playthrough, and I had to restart the game both times to fix it. There were also moments where lip syncing felt noticeably out of alignment. To be fair, Focus Entertainment identified that as a known issue and said it would be addressed by launch, but during my playthrough it was present. Overall, the larger problems are slow progression, an easy normal difficulty, a few technical rough edges, and a final act that goes on slightly too long. But outside of that, Resonance delivers. It is fun, emotionally engaging, and confident enough to move A Plague Tale in a different direction without losing the darkness and tragedy that defines the series. Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy is a great game, and my final score is 8 out of 10.